and this is partly a मैंने बोला था slide, but also to show that this one can do this real time. Okay, that's the more important thing which you have to take away from this. The second then important thing after that is it's not enough just to identify the sign of a pullback. एक बार आपने जब identify कर लिया after such an extended period of swing, what then is to act on that, है ना? And why? How would you act on that? You act on by selling onto strength. Now, selling onto strength is one such topic in technical analysis that literally divides the schema into 50-50. There are some people who think that selling into strength does not work for them. There are some people who says selling into strength is really helpful. So I will also try and explain why SOS works, why it does not work, and whom should it work, whom should it not work. Okay, and then possibly at the end we will say we will try and answer what next. Okay, so first up, what was the chronology? The chronology was here. On this day, this was Tuesday. Tuesday was the day when I sort of sensed some sort of what I call it an exhaustion of this trend up. Okay, and then that exhaustion ka sort of more confirmation came on the next day, and on this day the cards were on the table, you know, that oh, things are getting bearish. Okay, so that was the chronology, and I'll show you how what my observations were. So this was Tuesday during the day itself, which is basically on this day, 10th June. My observation, which I posted on HP announcements, were that I think we have a short-term top today or tomorrow, है ना? Which is on this day or on the next day, and swing trades which are extended can be booked, in my opinion. So this is what I meant by not only identification, but after identification karna kya hai, you know? So mid cap select was also hitting an all-time high, and there was some exhaustion. And so all of my observation are also put at the day end on something which I write, which is basically a daily breadth update, and which is also free for all. Most of you guys also know. And we will visit what I wrote on that day. And then Wednesday, I again said कि देखो what happened is intraday breadth has turned bearish some time ago on the intraday, about 11:30-12 बजे. My breadth view of yesterday stands. Okay, let's look at what I wrote on 10th, which was Friday. Friday के end में मैं क्या बोला कि short term we may pull back, swing positions that are extended should be de-risked, मतलब करना ही करना है. 11 तारीख वेंसडे को आई एम एंटिसिपेट a pullback soon, and that anticipation pullback came on the next day, and then the anticipation was that we will pull back some more. On Thursday we did pull back to the 10 DMA already, but I don't see any demand tails. So what I mean by that is on this day, Thursday, 10 DMA पे बिल्कुल demand tail था ही नहीं. So if there is no demand tail, then mostly the probability is that we might pull back more, and the pullback to where I anticipated was till the 20 DMA or the 21 EMA, which is on my chart here, and after that we again bounced back the next day. Okay, so mostly the things have arrived. So I will now show you or tell you what led me to say that there was some sort of what's the word, exhaustion, and this pullback might come. Okay, so first things first, there was something which I which I call a divergence, a negative divergence on breadth. Okay, so there are two components of breadth. One is the trend and one is the momentum. So the trend यहाँ पे क्या दिखा रहा था कि you can see that the indices are making a higher high, and again indices are making a higher high here. But on the breadth, which is the trend percentage of stocks above 20 DMA, we had a similar high. Again, this is not a problem. Similar high बनेगा because this is 100 के ऊपर नहीं जा सकता इसका, है ना? So they will not be making up high and high. But then in this case, what we saw was that there was some sort of a negative divergence, meaning we were making higher highs, but this guy was not making higher highs. This guy was sort of trying to go sideways, and that is also visible on other breadth plots. These are the most common breadth plots one can use. And again, today's video is not about breadth plots, so I will not go into detail, but you can already see the net 52-week high did basically did not it went flat here Monday. So Friday को जितना था Monday को भी मोटा मोटा उतना हुआ, Tuesday को भी it did not, like, it could not become more bullish. So you can see जब bullish होता है तो net 52 week high can go to like extreme bullish levels. Right now that extreme bullishness is not there. We are 2.6 and when we are on a sure bigger bull market, that value goes into a lot. So this was the on the intraday on the daily breadth plot, this was what I was looking at. Okay, so the second thing comes from price action. Price action is the main, Mithun Chakravarti is the price action. Okay, so यहाँ पे क्या हुआ, we opened a gapped up with a slight gap up, and then we could not hold that low, and then the whole day we were dilly-dallying in that, and then we actually gave back some gains. Okay, so that was also like a place where we could say that there was some, but again let me be very clear, although there was whatever I was seeing that day, we were not sure that this kind of a pullback would definitely come. Okay, because things are probabilistic. You cannot say anywhere I think is always from a probabilistic thinking. So I will never, you will never hear me talk like kal pullback aayega pakka. My tone would always be like there is a higher chance. Okay, we always have to think about in that way. Now after that, on that day itself, there intraday. So next thing to look at is to look things at on an intraday time frame. So I have this intraday dashboard where I look at various things, mostly the ORBD. Okay, so open range breakouts should be higher than open range breakdowns on any given day to say that on that day intraday the breadth is positive. Okay, so उस दिन क्या हुआ, basically the next day we went bearish. So if you look at this chart, the ORBDs, the red color was higher than 50% and ORBOs were decreasing, which means that more and more names were breaking down from their intraday, the first 3 minute ka range. Okay, so that was clearly saying that things were setting bearishly setting up, and that further strengthened the view that abhi ek mota wala pullback aa sakta hai. Again I am repeating that we never knew कि यहाँ ये कब तक जाएगा. Again the anticipation was 20 तक, but it so could have happened that 20 को भी लांग के it would attract get back to the 50 DMA. Okay, so then going back to what to look at, the signs mostly breadth में divergence you will see, and then intraday bearishness also will set up. The other thing, like I said, in breadth there is something called momentum. So if you've been following me, my way of looking at breadth is in two things: trend, which is a directional thing, and the momentum, which is a which is not just direction but also the intensity of that direction. So the other plot which we look at is the basal momentum, which is comes from the M swing plot. Okay, so the M swing plot क्या कर रहा था on Monday? देखो ये फ्राइडे तक, जून 6 इस फ्राइडे तक ये बहुत ख़तरनाक जा रहा था ऊपर, and on Monday which is June 9 there was a stark reduction in the basal momentum of the market. So this is market wide breadth, and then Tuesday को भी थोड़ा नीचे आया, and then so it's coming. So this was also sort of slightly telling that hey, market breadth was getting weaker. Okay, so that's the first part of the presentation, which is to what were the signs of the pullback, real time. Once you do that, you can use that information by selling something on strength. So now let's talk about what the fuck is selling on strength, right? So Selling on to strength is a swing traders tool. Okay, so before I tell you how to do a sell on strength, I will basically spend 2 minutes in telling you कि क्या है ये sell on strength, किसे use करना है, and why there is so much divide between in the trading community on how on is SOS beneficial or not. Okay, so first of all, it is mostly a swing traders tool. Because positional traders do not want to sell their positions on this tuch 4% pullback. Okay, positional traders make their positions when we are changing the trend. So the market trend changed on this. High, we started this was a major pivot. Major pivot breakout happened here, and then around this time positional traders would make their positions slightly and even maybe here, and then they will ride the whole uptrend. But swing traders will get in here and try and, like, sort of maybe get out here and then get out here. So even the smaller this one small pullbacks also they want to avoid. So firstly, positional traders are better off not following the sell on strength, and for you to sell something onto strength, your position size first of all has to be at least 10% or more. Okay, if you have a position size lesser than this, your sell on strength will not make sense. And partly all of the reasons which we always talk in the group is like you will have the tax implications are there. It's a short term 20% tax लगेगा, लंबा चलोगे तो बस 10% लगेगा, plus also then the number of trades you are going to make will be higher. It will also eat up the tax will eat up the charges will eat up a lot of your thing. Okay, so the other thing is see, if your size itself is 10% or less, selling onto strength is basically you are selling not everything but at least a part of your position at when you think that it's right to sell. Okay, so अगर आपका position ही 10% है, let's say your position is 10% and you are 10% up, for example, hold on. So for example, HLE glass coat. Okay, so HLE glass coat was something which I sold onto strength. So I entered here and I sold somewhere here at this was around 9% or yeah, somewhere around 9% was my gain. Okay, so my position size was around 10% here now, and I sold half there. So let's say 10% position, a 10% move, my account is only move 1%, and so out of that 1%, so 1% is sort of at least a decent size for a swing trader to book or say partially. So my account is only moved by 1%, and usko bhi if I now sell 50%, then whatever is left is now only 5% of my portfolio. And if that 5% moves even 50%, so the percentage impact from a very smaller size will be even more smaller, and that doesn't make much sense. So for you to have any meaningful impact on your portfolio, your size has to be at least 10% or more. Okay, so that is the other thing to consider. Now the third thing is it only works, sell on to strength will only work if you have the skill to get back early after the pullback has come. So for example, currently अगर आपने यहाँ पे या यहाँ पे if you sold your position, so for example something like GRSE, so GRSE or the other guy, what is the name of the other guy, GRSE, if you can help, Cochin Shipyard. Cochin Shipyard is a better example. So Cochin Shipyard has a clear sell on to strength ka price action here. So selling something here will only work for you if, so basically selling onto strength, which is on an extended position, will only make sense if you also have the skill to get back here. Okay, or whenever this thing PVC PVC जहाँ जब भी होगा, so you sold at around, let's say, 2440, and then you got back at a price which is less extended, or which is at a more low risk point. So if by selling here, your high conviction position, you are again getting back slightly higher, then you will see, it is fine as long as the bull market continues and you can sell it even higher. But from a psychological standpoint, it will bug you. It will make you feel that you are doing a useless activity, because you are anyways unable to get back in. So psychologically, it will only make more sense to you if you are able to, if you do have the skill to use that cash which you generated by selling something extended, if you are able to get back in a place where things are not extended. Okay, so this is again the next thing to be very mindful of. And people who cannot do that might feel that selling onto strength is something which does not work for them. Now the other thing, technically, that is why, is that it is more suited for pullback traders as compared to breakout traders. Okay, and you can see that why from this particular example itself. So pullback traders would enter somewhere here, rather than on this candle, where you'd say, oh, this the ये एक छोटा सा बेस है, उसका बेस का ब्रेकआउट हो गया इस दिन, एंड आप अगर इस दिन चढ़ ही रहे हो as a breakout trader, then it is very difficult to sell something at, although this is 9-10% up, but it is more easier for someone to sell something at 30%, if the trade is a pullback trade. It is more easier to sell something at a 30% extension, rather than as a breakout trader who only has like 8 to 10% kind of a move. Okay, and once they do that, then it again makes sense to get back at around another pullback component area, rather than at another breakout area which will come around here. So from a from a structural point of view also, sell on strength will only, or not only, but will make more sense for pullback traders. Okay, so once I have now to the best of my ability tried to give you the the view of why and who should do sell on strength. Let's now talk about what the hell is sell on strength, right? So sell on strength is basically selling a portion of your position at these things. Number one, at a decent risk multiple. Okay, and whatever that decent risk multiple, that has to be at least 1% of your account size. Uske niche to matlab it doesn't make sense to do SOS. To sell a portion of your position if you think that the rally is extended and a pullback is more than 50% likely. Okay, and the example which I showed you is here. So around these 2 days, it was a very high probability that if you had sold your names on strength, which I did a lot of my positions, this would have made more sense. So selling a portion at a risk multiple, or when you feel a rally is extended, or if this two is not there, the third is whenever the price action of your position shows that forget the market, but at least on this position there is a very high chance that there is going to be a pullback, and most of the time that price action is what VSA traders call as a stop volume. Okay, so whenever these things occur, you basically de-risk your position. Oh fucking hell, excuse me, sorry, that's my door. So whenever these things occur, you sell a part to basically not give back all your gains, or to make sure that your winning trade does not become a losing trade as a swing trader. Okay, I hope I made myself extremely clear here. So now let's lastly discuss what this stop volume is. And there were a lot of stop volumes in the market on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we discussed that on my group as well. So what is a stop volume? stop volume is a high volume candle. It's actually not a volume candle, okay, it's a price candle. So ये नाम में volume है बोल के आप ये मत सोचना कि ये volume candle को stop volume बोलते हैं हम लोग. It is a price candle which has a very high volume, let's go to Chin Chin Shipyard. Yes, so it's a price candle which has a very high volume, which stops the trend. Okay, so ये जो अप ट्रेंड यहाँ से शुरू हुआ था उसको मोटा मोटा स्टॉप कर रहे हैं हम लोग. So that is what a stop volume is. Now, some of the confusion people do while uh, identifying stop volume is they forget this stop the trend wala part. So stop volume always occurs at a later stage of the trend or upswing, not at the beginning of a base breakout. So if it is a beginning of a base breakout, there is a big price candle with big mota volume, that is not a stop volume. Okay, that is the start of the trend, because basing, once the base is broken out, what happens is price trends now. Okay, but stop volumes are the volume which stops the trend at the end of an upswing or or at an end of a trend. So for example, this one, and there are some other examples also. So for example, hold on, set up library stop volume. So for example, I'll just quickly show you some names, some of the clippings I made when the so so one is Godfrey Phillips. So if you see this after a long, I mean, not long is subjective, but after the end of a good uptrend, it was a very high volume, but the price did not move much. Okay, in fact the price closed below the previous day close. Sai had an amazing stop volume here, huge volume almost equal to the previous day. But if you look at the previous day, how much it moved is the price moved 20%, but the next day with this volume the price actually moved minus 10% from the top. Okay, and mind you, stop volume doesn't always occur at the end of an uptrend, but they also occur at the end of a downtrend, because down ya up, a trend is a trend, and stop volume is stopping both the trends. So a very good example was BSC here. I'm not sure if we reversed in BSC right after this day, but I'm pretty sure soon enough we did have a reversal. So this is also a stop volume. Okay, now let's talk more about the stop volume. Most of the stop volumes will have an HVQ or an HVY along with them. Okay, so this is basically highest volume in a quarter or highest volume in a year. Generally वो आता है, so यहाँ पे नहीं आया था, but probably इसके बाद में नहीं, but you will find, like for example, Sai on that big stop volume was was a volume very similar to HVE. So very similar to HVE. Okay, so you will find most of these stop volumes are very high volume candles. Now the other thing you can use to identify stop volume is candle range is very high, but the move is not. Okay, so candle range money the if you look at Chin Chin Shipyard, here the range of this candle, if you look at, was 8%, around 8% was the range of the candle, but the move it made actually is very less, like only 2% move from the next day. Okay, whereas if you look at the previous day, this volume, this high volume, 12% move. Okay, so the move of the range will be very high, but the move will be not, and it will most likely be a doji. So what's a doji? Doji is a small body candle. So if you look at this guy, the body is actually very small, so only less than 2% range of the body. So a smaller body and larger range, and that is why most likely your stop volumes is going to be a doji. Okay, now in that also there are us doji, maybe there are a lot of different kind of doji which can be made. The worst kind is something called a gravestone doji. Gravestone doji mein we don't have a tail, but we have a upper wick, right? So for example, if you have if you see on this day, this was also a doji, but this was a hanging man. Hanging man thoda sa still ठीक है, मतलब हैंगिंग मैन के बाद प्रोबेबिलिस्टिकली ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि लाइक ओके वी वी absorb all the supply around here the next day and then we again start the uptrend. So this doji is still fine, but the other one, the ulta, the uh, the gravestone doji, which has a very small body at the lower end of the range and has a very longer wick, is the worst. Okay, so please अगर ये वाला दिखे तो डेफिनेटली सेल ऑन स्ट्रेंथ करना आपके लिए ज़्यादा अच्छा रहेगा एज अ स्विंग ट्रेडर. तो मैंने द अदर एग्जांपल साई वाला जो दिया था वो परफेक्ट था, मतलब तगड़ा वाला ग्रेव स्टोन डोजी था. ओके, so so that's about it. Now another lastly most important thing about this is because see whenever I discuss these things, I try and be 100% nishpaksh and try and give you the both side of the equation. Okay, so see, just because a stop volume has come does not mean it is the end of the world. Okay, the implications are most likely short term, or the implication will hold only in the time frame of the candle where it has come. So for example in this case just because कोचिन शिपयार्ड में ये आया है, ऐसा नहीं है कि अभी ये इट्स नॉट लाइक it will now move back to whatever 50-60% it had done, it will give back all the gain. ऐसा नहीं है. Since we are on an uptrend, the bias should definitely be that the uptrend will hold and the key moving averages will come and support them. Okay, so it's not the end of the world. So implications are only on that time frame only. And that is why also you have to be very sure who are you as a trader. It's a swing trader's tool, it's not a positional trader's tool. Maybe positional traders can follow this, but on a weekly time frame is better. Okay, so so lastly let me see what I had promised. What's next? Yeah, so what's next again, I will take you to my market breadth commentary which I make every day. So oh hold on, did I not make one on 13, 14, 15? Yeah, so this is Friday, right? So the Friday, the bias remains that the bounce will follow through, and by bounce what I mean is this bounce from the 20 DMA. My bias is that it is going to follow through and we are now looking at it at a 25-minute time frame. See, क्या देखना है अपन को, क्या देखना है as a trend follower? We have to basically, okay, one, we anticipate the reversal points, but after that we have to see the basic structure of a trend आया है कि नहीं. So the basic structure of a trend is a higher high and a higher low. एक higher low आ गया है, अभी अपन को बस क्या चाहिए, एक higher high चाहिए. So any move above this 17260 on small cap is going to be a first signs that the bounce is going to come. Okay, so as a as a swing trader looking at it on a daily time frame, the 20 MA has come in to support that, and I believe that we will bounce, albeit the bounce might not, I mean the trend up और the upswing might not come bang 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 कल परसों नरसों एकदम 3 दिन बड़ा बड़ा कैंडल, ऐसा नहीं भी हो सकता है. बट मोटा मोटा this is the range we've set now, and I believe this is the swing high and this is the swing low. We might form a very nice base. I would love for it to have a volatility contraction scenario or a volatility contraction pattern, and mota mota the bias is that the uptrend is going to resume. Maybe the 50 might support, maybe we will have some sort of shakeouts here again around the 50. Those things is possible, but the bias mota mota remains of an uptrend. Okay, so I will stop here. You guys must be busy. Thanks for joining me, and thanks for being here. If you guys have any questions, I will take maybe 5 minutes questions and then we will stop. Okay, no questions. Cool. Sumit asks why choose Nifty mid cap. We choose Nifty mid small because most of us here are swing traders, and uh, we choose high ATR stocks. Liquidity is swad anusar higher. Uh, some of the small and micro cap names might not be liquid for you, but in general, mid and small caps are what we do trade. And so, I'm oh maybe I showed you this one, but this is the mid small cap is what um, most closely represents my own trading universe. So what you should do is you should follow the index which most closely represents the kind of stocks you trade. So if your trades are mostly in the in the large cap space, then I believe the most important uh, uh, index for you would be the Nifty 100 equivalent index. Okay, if you are someone who like solely trades small cap, then you might want to just look at small cap 250. So there is no hard and fast thing, but that is what it is.